but...
Oh, I didn't realize you were doing it that long.
Yeah, I was sitting on the A point in that match for like 10 minutes. It was...
I think the biggest problem I have with it is just the concept of quote-unquote arty in naval is just kind
enemy.
of flawed. Like, being able to call
yeah.
on the battleship to fire upon a target like that is a bit weird. I'm not gonna lie. It also doesn't really work too well, synergize too well in naval because of how fast ships can be, and especially boats.
It also doesn't make any sense in the context
Where'd he go?
of...
Where'd he go?
That's not a realistic scenario.
Yeah,
Jordan, where'd that guy go?
Oh, that guy.
It is very weird that like PGO2 has C4I being a patrol vessel. It can relay sort of coordinate data, right, and monitor and sort of ghost
Where did I
fleet,
get
right?
shot from?
Which is something that
Oh, you're getting shot from the rear, guys.
have done.
Yeah, I'm dead.
Heck. But at the same time, it's not like you can. There's no C4I on this PGO2 on the Type 1 patrol boat. That's not a thing. And like this is essentially what calling in battleship artillery is at C4I, because it's active communication and control. So you're basically like what you see is what the battleship sees, essentially.
Yeah.
And that's a little bit odd.
Gotta work out the correct number of shells to bring now. Having some common is probably still useful.
Yeah, common's nice. It's
No,
a
but
nice little SAP shell.
He's been getting aces every match, taking Balti with stock. As in stock Balti.
You mean it does start with the stock SAP shell, so that's not the end of the world.
The US 8-inch common shell is pretty poor.
Right, but you compare it to stock grinding with pure 8 contact HE, and it's not the worst way to start, basically.
Nice one, Pat.
Yep, and Gaijin's bug or patch of we fixed camos not working properly.
Not working?
No, Baltimore is still a blue candy cane.
Well, I can always re-report that as a regressive bug. So.
Oh, you can see where the camo...
Should
if you
be.
look just rear of my B
Number 2,
turret
yeah.
on the starboard side, you can see where it's like weirdly gathered up.
I suspect it's just how they made the camo in the first place.
It works in the dock.
Yeah, no, the fact that it's basically there are two ways to make a camo, and they chose a manner that allows the camouflage to be rotatable, rather than basically painting directly on the skin of the ship.
I don't
because
like
of that
position.
They'll have to actually just redo the camo from scratch.
Which is effort, meaning they probably won't get around to it for another 3 years.
I
Well,
wouldn't
it's effort
count
on a
Baltimore.
not Tech Tree vehicle, so...
Yeah, unless like somebody at Gaijin, an artist at Gaijin really likes Baltimore. And granted, there are people who really like ships. Like the devs team itself has probably got enthusiasts here and there. It's just like what are they assigned to, right? And what's their workload? So
It's triage, basically.
yeah, there's a priority.
Do these cranes fold?
They should, yes.
Yeah, they look foldable. Like
They
they
literally
should
have a
fold
hinge at
down.
the bottom of them.
I was more just looking at the halfway joint. Looks kind of
That
hinged.
too. But they are literally 2 folding branches. It's just good luck finding a photo of it.
Speaking of, we're still looking for Type 88 APC.
I found some stuff on Japanese cap development, but...
No, also a quick update. The Type 5 AP didn't have a cap.
Okay.
We found out because of the. It didn't have a cap.
Uh-oh. Okay, I'm gonna have to stop and let this Westfalen go past.
Or the number 6 AP, whatever. It's the same thing. It's just didn't have a Type 3 cap. We don't know what it had. It may not. It may have a cap still. It just didn't have a Type 3 cap. So that much we know.
Trick is presently about to just ram this person whose name is going in the channel for that. Because ramming Jesus is my drug is probably not the best idea.
That sounds like a band name or a song.
To be fair, that
Sounds
just
like a
sounds
crappy
like...
Christian band.
I was going to say that
Yeah.
sounds like the genre known as Christian rock.
It's an interesting sort of musical development, I guess.
Mm.
Sort of par for the course at the same time, though.
Well, it's just trying to be counterculture to counterculture. The issue is now is
America's
that
weird. I've never heard of
counterculture-
non-American Christian rock.
Oh, don't worry, I've got some hippie
I
Christians in my
almost
family.
guarantee you that like there's something in Russia for that, because Russia for some reason got really into evangelism.
Well, yeah, because after the fall of communism,
they needed
it
something
was
else.
kind of...
To follow
Well,
some other
more
massive
like-
cult.
evangelist missions took a lot of steps to campaign in Russia, as opposed to like it's sort of like of all the countries they could have picked, right?
And you hear about what they've done in Africa, it's pretty sick.
Like yeah, that's evangelism as a concept is a bit of a unique one. It's like taking the Protestant movement and then doing it to the Protestant movement.
See, it always just makes me think of the Evangelical Union, which is the original Protestant thing.
Well, Unit 01 is still the best.
But yeah, no, it's evangelism.
No, because that one didn't get the weird fat suit.
But Shinji's
Jesus
mom's
Christ.
got it going on.
But yeah, it's an interesting cultural development. I feel like it's sort of the use of
How many
the United
crims
States
are there?
relation to religion is very awkward in the first place. The fact that like one of the fundamental cultural anchors in the U.S. for a long time was Puritanism is a bit like inevitable,
Was?
I guess. Yeah, I mean, not, I
It
guess
still is.
What we would culturally consider as the Puritans as a distinct group is gone now, right? But like, yeah, the roots of it still exist, and their legacy is arguably one of the most fundamental to U.S. religious culture, I guess.
See, in this country, Puritanism means Oliver Cromwell, which is not a very nice topic.
Oh, but yeah, I can
Amazing.
imagine. Yeah,
I just exploded a Chapayev.
the front ammo rack on the Chapayev is kind of exposed.
The entirety
But-
of Furutaka is pretty exposed.
That is true. Furutaka, however, is like comparing Chapayev to Furutaka is kind of like
Well, that's what I'm using to shoot Chapayevs with.
good luck. You're
I just
literally
detonated
using-
it.
Congratulations, because yeah, the Furutaka is
I like Furutaka.
Furutaka is a godsend
Guns
in
are great.
comparison to
guns are
the
yeah. I would
previous
still
ships.
say yeah. Compared to the rest, sure. The issue is that she's a 6-gun cruiser in a bracket where everything else has anything.
Yeah, but
from 2 to
I'll
12
take
days.
less good guns
15
over
guns.
like crap.
Right,
It's
but I would argue she's the worst 5.7 in the game. Frankly, I would put her as a crappier HMS York.
I like the
York
York
hurts
as well.
my face. So
York
I'll
is
give you
good,
that.
but York is also 5.3. And
Is that a
5.3
plane?
Yes,
better
that
than
is a
There's
plane.
plane.
in the air.
Can you get rid of
Because
the... Yes, get rid of the F-82, Mr. Baltimore. Show him
Yeah,
the joy of painting.
5.3 gets far better matchmaker than 5.7 right now, and not to mention the fact that again York is a flat upgrade in my opinion. Same dispersion but better filler, and if you get better matchmaker, then the penetration doesn't matter.
And York
Um,
hurts.
Yeah, I think York
Because-
is very solid.
CPC.
Yep, that's precisely why. York basically is, as a result, a flat upgrade. So I don't really see the point to Furutaka, at least at 5.7. I'd
Well-
recommend a lineup for 5.7 for Japan. That'd be Mikuma / Suzuya, Tone, those two, and then Mogami. Mogami is worse than the other two until they fix the turret angles.
Yes.
But otherwise,
But,
if they fix the turret angles, then she'll be better.
point is, I'm taking Furutaka and spading her while I research Momo, and then I'm going to swap out... Why is there a Nordak just stopped in spawn like a numpty?
Excellent
People
question.
think,
Excuse me.
battleships are snipers.
Excuse me as I ram my 15,000-ton cruiser into you at 40 miles an hour and nearly roll you over because you're a complete moron.
Oh, that happened yesterday, and the guy bitched at me.
Yeah, I know. And then I reported him for swearing at you.
Oh,
Oh, and now I'm gonna get torped because this Nordak is an idiot.
I should probably shoot this guy, like, right next to me.
I feel like people who've grinded up the battleships may have to experience the trauma of being focus fired in a cruiser on their way to grinding the battleships. Gaijin may want to make the grind of battleships a little less tedious.
Oh, there's a plane coming for me. There's a plane coming for me.
You mean there's a plane coming for... There's a plane asking you nicely for a shovel.
What am I gonna do, Joram? There's a plane.
I don't know. I wouldn't stop moving though, because I don't think you've got an anti-kamikaze fit on.
He's actually...
Tiny Tim.
He rocketed me.
Why? The Baltimore in its current fit is close enough to anti-kamikaze as it gets, because...
Baltimore never got an anti-kamikaze fit.
That, and also the fact that, like, what was the primary two weapons used in anti-kamikaze?
More 20 mils and 40 mils. You got another
20s,
one. You got another one.
40s, and the 5-inch, in fact. You needed higher caliber guns. The 20s were found to be insufficient in fighting off suicide
20s
attack.
only kill a plane within about a mile, and if a plane is still not in a million pieces a mile away from you, you have a problem.
Yeah, because the crash trajectory was the original intended trajectory.
Yeah. Hence the famous picture of HMS Sussex with a rather Wile E. Coyote-esque outline of a kamikaze on the side of her.
Yep, and that was a slow one. Yep, yeah. That was a bomber that the Japanese basically noted for being valuable mainly on low maintenance runways. That was the one thing that it was considered useful for. Some Burmese and...
This plane sucks, but it still functions somewhat.
Yeah, essentially low speed, low payload, kind of unsatisfactory. However, because of its kind of rugged gear design, it could be used in sort of poor quality runways. You could take it off from a rocky field.
Also, GG.
So, nice.
We've lost because I got by a PR-206 at the beginning of the game, as did the rest of us.
Oof.
Yeah, and it was a bot.
That is sort of why, like, yeah.
Russian bots are the bane of my existence.
It's more like why the Russian lineup is actually the best lineup right now.
But
because overall, they have access to high-power PT boats that are decent speed and quite durable, while also having
the
an
most
SAP
killy battleship, the most killy PT boats, the most killy frigates.
And then they have respectable, if not even
Everything
quite
else.
powerful cruisers, because the Chikirov can punch through battleships surprisingly reliably.
Yep.
It gets hit like wet noodle, so it dies, or takes a hit like wet noodle, but it can hit pretty hard.
I was going to say no it doesn't, but as I opened my mouth to say that, a salvo from Baltimore exploded one.
Oh, I was talking relative to battleships. As a cruiser, it's not like especially durable, but it's not especially squishy either.
Yeah, it was lovely timing on your part.
Oh yeah. It's not like
Kirov gets slapped.
notably bad as far as cruiser just like durability goes, but it's nothing special. Like Gorky is a bit more special, but even there.
First.
Yeah,
How?
because you sit there and absorb damage.
5-7.
I believe so, because I don't think battleships right now have special matchmaker, so they get basically cruiser matchmaker.
Yeah, it's just this
Just
map.
Coral Island. Oh god, there's a battlecruiser. Okay, I'll shoot him. Battlecruisers are easy to kill.
Yeah, I can see a Von der Tann.
Oh boy.
I can
it's
see
a
a Westfalen. Wait, no, that's not a Von der Tann. That's Japanese. That is a.
And someone's asking, is this a down tier?
Hey, look, it's sparkling
he's in a-
AR-15.
The guy, why is the guy in a Von der Tann asking if it's a down tier?
Is he joking? Is that humor?
I don't know, he might just be an idiot.
Well, I mean, he's a German main.
That is true.
Sounds like an idiot to me.
Well, I'm not sure I'm going to tank that
Oh.
much.
Oh, that's really cool. A guy somehow nabbed the name Izumo. Like, just Izumo, nothing else. That's a very, very old name.
I feel kind of hilarious now. I just shot a guy called Gunmaster 100, who is in a Jag.
That's an appropriate vessel for the name.
Yes, it's just...
Ooh.
It's funny because I just revolver ocelotted him.
Don't you just love the smell of cordite?
Oh yeah.
So long as it's not, so long as it's actual cordite and not leaky cordite.
That's an awful description of it. Leaky cordite. That's a terrifying name.
There's a band name.
It's not very
Vaporized
flattering.
cordite.
Leaky, I think, is a lot less flattering as a term.
Wait,
Well,
what's
cordite.
leaky cordite?
Cordite, if you get it above X temperature, leaks nitroglycerin,
Oh, okay.
Cool.
which is why the Americans didn't use it. Because,
Yeah, I
They're-
can imagine that in
they're
a
on the-
Pacific theater.
or, you know, like sitting in harbor at Brownsville or something.
Yeah, I was
Wait.
thinking, like, cordite was a very World War One-esque weapon.
Which was the ship
technology.
that exploded?
The main?
The ammunition ship.
Oh, the one that the Japanese are supposed to have blown up.
No, the one that was just in dock in like non-wartime, wasn't it?
Are you talking
Oh,
about
that's
World
the
War
one-
One Halifax, or
Maybe.
That's part of the reason
The
why they
Mont
didn't
Blanc?
like.
the Halifax explosion? I believe was Mont Blanc ramming into something else.
Yeah, that was
It's
Just
a
the one that
big-
was in a harbour and then exploded and
Yeah, turn the
Blast
harbor
everybody.
into like a preview of Hiroshima.
Turn the harbor into a horror was. That was
Well,
a
I'm
terribly
Kenny, I told that
forced joke.
bitch.
Oh yeah.
this must be
we're
quite a tanky
landed
ship because I'm not dead yet.
in
Baltimore.
And there's multiple
There-
battleships shooting at me.
We're within
the-
10 clicks of the enemy team. Jake's probably within like 5, and there's several German and Japanese battleship-shaped objects shooting at him.
mildly terrified. It's good to hear that the Balti can actually take a hit against those then, because
As
It's the
said,
angle. You can angle like mad.
except you have circular barbettes, so
yeah,
They just
the main
normalize.
thing is just like they need to still buff the barbettes. They still need to fix the ammo. I'm still irate about how they're doing ammo just on cruisers as a whole.
the
because it's
barbettes
not
are
just
too
that-
thick.
I thought they were. Are they too thick?
They're half an inch too thick. The only ship with 7-inch barbettes was Wichita.
I mean, honestly, half an inch is not going to change much. At least, I can't think of any thresholds that breaks. So that, on the bright side, that's not a nerf.
Oh, there's
Well.
a sniping invincible.
Or
How
that's
do you
not
get an invincible
a
to
big nerf, I
snipe?
guess.
I don't
Dispersion
know.
is roughly cruiser dispersion, heavy cruiser dispersion, not light cruiser heavy.
Oh, wait,
light cruisers
wait.
have very good dispersion, but
An invincible, you say?
for
Maybe my torpedoes could do something.
what torpedoes do you have?
Crap ones. Because I'm the
Oh, no, no.
US.
Which
The Mark.
which vessel?
He's taking an AM1.
If you land successive hits, you can start like a really nasty flood, but if he pays attention to that, you're not going to do anything.
True, but that
damage
assumes
is
that he
actually-
pays attention to it.
Yes,
I'm gonna go
but
right.
I know
wait, there's this-
assuming that
Yeah,
your enemy
that's a
is
bit
dumb is
unfortunate.
not a good idea, but
There's
speaking of, we need to
something-
do some torpedo durability tests sometime, mainly because I want to set up a bug report to
I'm
buff.
more than happy to do
torpedoes.
that.
Okay.
Like, I mean, hell, if you just want something to shoot at, it's dinner time in about an hour and a half anyway, so...
I just need somebody to throw torpedoes, I think, my way, and then I need somebody in a ship that's roughly equivalent to a World War One, like, basically pre-World War One Dragon, essentially.
So what you're saying is you want Krasny Krem, or Ikoma.
More like
Oh.
well, Dread, not pre-Dread, not like a Dread.
I have the
Well-
entire US tree,
I didn't need that tail.
and Trek has the entire British tree.
I have some
The name was
Americans.
that Austro-Hungarian. What is it called?
Oh,
not
and
even
do
sure
you
I
have
wanna
something with
spawn.
Mark 16s?
I do.
I don't know.
No, because you don't have PT3.
Are those torps?
What was
Oh,
it called?
Lord. What? What did you say? Austro-Hungarian?
There's an Austro-Hungarian.
I know the ship you're talking about, I think, and I swear it has at least an A in it.
Yeah, basically two Italian. So the Austro-Hungarian Navy was trying to pull two of its battleships and a destroyer screen
Yeah.
out of basically the
To fight
part of
Italy.
they were trying to pull it out into the Mediterranean and do convoy raiding, essentially.
Which book is it?
And two Italian mass PT boats ran the destroyer screen, sent 2 torpedoes into one of the dreadnoughts, and sunk it. Those aren't heavy torpedoes. Those are closer to bliss leave it torpedoes than they are to long lances, you know?
Well, the US battleships in-game have bliss leave it's.
Yeah, which the main thing is that we have these very low payload torpedoes.
Yep.
Ripping ships in two in World War
Page
I.
11.
So, like, and we're not small ships. We're ripping battleships.
Tegatov?
Dreadnought. Not Tokatov, no. Fiennes something, Stettin or whatever.
Well, the Tegatov class dreadnoughts, Viribus Unitis Tegatov, Prinz Eugen, and Zentistvan. Or the improved Tegatov class, which never happened.
Istvan, I think, or something like that.
Well,
it was Saint something, essentially. But
yeah, Saint Istvan.
The Italians have a gallery.
10/6/18. So, sunk 10th of June 1918.
Yep. So the Italians call it, in Italian, of course, Santo Stefano.
Yeah, that would make sense in this language, which I'm assuming is Hungarian.
Likely Hungarian, yeah.
Because it's not German.
But yeah. So I've sent some inquiries out to some Italian historians.
Italian
about...
Mass 15.
Yes. The
Literal
Mass.
torpedo boat.
Yep. And 2 of them struck it. The main thing is I don't know what the specifications were for that torpedo, so I've asked a few people about that. Namely, I've asked some people off of the regiomarina.net articles.
Just had a chair assault me. The chair lands against my bookshelf.
Heck.
Do I do a Shima surprise on the A point? Yes, I'm going to do a Shima surprise on the A point because I'm feeling like a meme.
I did see something heading.
What the
that
heck? I
way.
clicked on the point! Don't you love it when you tell the game to spawn you on the side and it puts you in the middle because having more than one spawn point is dumb? So,
I always find the UI really laggy for menus and stuff.
I just find it doesn't
like-
ever do anything. So excuse me as I shout a bunch while I head the direction of this Suzuki while trying not to ram our sparkling AR-15.
Sparkling what now?
Sparkling AR-15.
What's the dude's
It's
name?
a player.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I was like, we have a ship that has a nickname.
No, he's
I
in
don't think
Nordak
that
at the moment. He is
Okay.
charging Nordak in to get into punching range, apparently.
That'd be about right.
My guess is he is a hardcore Freeaboo, but he's a pretty decent player.
That's good.
It's nice to I prefer seeing him on my team than not on my team.
My biggest problem with the existing in-game roster of ships is that we lack a sort of staid presence of ships that got absolutely slapped by a torpedo. Except for the fact that Hyuga is an Issei class, which is very close related to the Fuso class, and Yamashiro
Got
was
sunk by
sunk
Fletchers.
2 Mark 15s. 2 Mark 15s means that we have a benchmark for that thing, and we have a benchmark for Mark 15 damage.
We have a
but I would
benchmark
like-
that...
I would like a
US
benchmark
cruisers.
for bliss leave it torpedoes, essentially.
Yeah.
Because the main thing is just that battleships of that era carry torpedoes for a reason, right? And that should be our benchmark for those types of ships, right? We're not looking at the other issue with Yamashiro is that she was a post-30s Fuso,
Refit.
meaning that, yeah, she's refit.
Though by that
and
point
that-
in time.
I want to have something that like shows that sealing bulkheads took at least 30 seconds if the auxiliary power was not offline on a World War I battleship, meaning that you really took like floodings really sucked essentially.
Yep. There's a reason why they built in bulkheads and anti-torpedo compartments into every generation of dreadnoughts after the first generation.
Yeah, and the fact that torpedoes with sub 100 kilogram payloads would split ships in 2 during World War I. So, like, they were underwater explosions
Rewards.
suck a lot more, essentially. They
Yep.
hurt a lot more. And, like, I think that's the key takeaway, that we kind of need to demonstrate that you can't just rely on TNT equivalent. The nature of an underwater explosion is a lot more devastating.
And guys
even
who
if it's
don't understand
small
that.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it's because a lot of the focus has been on the long lens, and like one thing that the long lens has displayed is that with effective torpedo protection systems and also at strikes onto non-critical components of a ship, even this high payload torpedo won't be critical, right? But it doesn't show that because you don't really see a lot of long lenses striking World War I dreadnoughts. You don't really get the contrast where
Wow.
our current top tier is comprised of ships that wouldn't have such damage control systems put in place. Like, there's not the main thing is you don't really need to lead as a 288.
I got a lovely
this-
spawn.
Nice.
No,
And because of how fast you are, oh heck, yeah. Because of how fast the 288 is, the sight is actually offset from your plane by a fair margin, so you can actually drop those bombs very quickly and then pull out of there, rearm, rinse and repeat if you're on a map that allows for that. And I'd argue that, like, while P8 can miss a lot easier and still kill a ship outright, 288's ability to just strike fast is very, very nice. And the fact you get 2 drops means you can actually still kill 2 planes, or 2 battleships with it.
So you could probably kill 2 planes with 2 bombs, but you'd have to be very lucky.
Yeah, that would take a lot of coordination.
What is this Baltimore doing?
That's an excellent question.
Um,
Incidentally, I'm going to be taking because of the fact that we're on a conquest map, I'm going to take a position over here, behind this island. Poke out every now and then, pop a salvo, pop back. Hyuga is surprisingly fast for her battleship.
last time we were on this map, we ended up completely cornered by like
Come on,
2 or 3
move.
enemy battleships.
I stopped so you could get past me. Oh.
That's mildly worrying.
Well, it was a Hyuga, and then there was like a Westfalen or a Vondertan or something like H6 or something. So basically, Trick, myself,
What's this Trenton doing? What the hell is going on in our spawn?
Americans can't drive manuals.
Oh,
But they give us automatic. I can see where the turret angle issues are on turret number 3. That is incorrect for turret number 3.
So yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sad
but-
I haven't been able to find any armor diagrams for Hyuga or Issei. I have
Yeah,
been
that's
able to find
unfortunate.
them. I have like entire technical package for this ship though. Like
just go hire a diving crew and go have a look.
I'm sure
Is
that
the
there
wreck
is
known?
if you hire a diving crew, make sure you find the right wreck.
I believe
Where
we
is
have
it?
coordinates. I know that we at least have coordinates for both vessels, if I'm not mistaken. Ise is in Japan because she was dead in the water in one of the ports. I believe Kure.
That would make sense.
What do you keep marking, Opti?
Oh, he's
this is
locking
me.
targets.
Yeah, I'm just locking target. It just happens to be the same keybind.
Ah, I've got mine on my Bombay key.
Ah. I do technically use it. Maybe I should change it. I don't know. It's more by force of habit at this point because the ground forces is. There's no reason to use a targeting mark in ground forces, but it's also very useful in ground forces.
There is a reason for
call.
it.
Oh no, to lock target. The call target is very useful in ground forces, but the lock target doesn't exist. So
It does for
I just
AA
used-
guns. And actually, since they enabled the locking of
Oh,
planes
that's
for
true.
everything,
Well, the main
Which is
thing is
just
that
silly.
for ground forces, when you're aiming up in the sky, you don't get the target marker anyway, so it doesn't interfere. So it still doesn't actually affect things.
it does just look a bit weird seeing you just popping dots all over the map, though.
Yeah. That's
Why
true.
is our team? Oh God, this. I'm angry now. Half our team's gone fucking north.
Yeah,
On the bright side, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's unfortunate. On the bright side, though, we can sort of, I think I struck a destroyer. I wasn't aiming for a destroyer, but I struck.
you just
Oh.
slapped a baby.
That's a Project 56, by the way. Two
A baby
turrets,
tarantula.
Half our
because
team
I-
went north, and I've not been able to get in the cap because of all this traffic jam bullshit. Oh,
Yeah.
I should go back to Baltimore. I was happy. I was just
Life was simpler.
Yeah, because you had discovered the joy of painting.
I just sat around destroying planes, which is like my favorite thing.
You can still do that in the Japanese, but they have to get closer, and you're sort of like, oh, there's a lot of cruisers. Time to make them pay.
There's a Baltimore over there.
Oh, my marker's actually accurate this time. Or yeah, roughly. Oh, I got deaded.
By a hipper?
Yeah, I can't wait for the ammunition rework. Ow, that really hurt. And that's my first death in this thing.
Well, it's also the first death in this match.
Lovely. Well, I gotta be a bit more careful with my broadsides then.
Yeah, because,
No, I think we've lost this. What the hell is our team doing in the north? I'm just confused.
They might try me doing a wide flank, but let's not discount it just yet, because one of their players disconnected, and I think we can win this, because I don't see any battleships on their side. So we have a Poltava, wherever the fuck that is.
where? Let's see, what's his name? Binid.
In the south somewhere, I'm guessing.
Yeah, he's over that away.
That's good, that's good. We have...
Oh,
we have,
ow. Something
in-
exploded.
That's worrisome. That, looking at the location, I don't know if the location will match up properly, but that might just be your secondaries.
It was something amidships. I think it was a torp, actually.
Torpster should be in the sort of mid-rear, though.
Yeah.
I think it might just be secondaries, in which case, like, that might gimp your AA, but at least, like, that's secondaries compared to what it potentially could have been. Where
I got
on earth?
really confused for a second, because there's this rock on the opposite side of
Oh.
the rail bank to you,
Yeah.
and it's really dark and doesn't fit at all, and you can't see the rocks under it, which are much lighter at a distance, but I could see your smoke over the top of it, so it was like you were just like a floating turd with smoke. Just,
How flattering.
you'll see them when you come by.
Well, that is that's an AI, never mind.
Oh,
I'm
There,
gonna get my due vengeance on that
There.
cruiser, I think. Oh, I think I see what you mean, yeah.
just happen to line up perfectly with your funnels.
Quality. Okay, so I'm gonna sail. I'm gonna take a bit more of an aggressive position. I wanted to
there's
take
an
that.
Eugen here
I want vengeance upon
that can
him.
shoot me, but I can't shoot him.
Fall
I'm
back if you
waiting.
can, so that you can lure him around the corner.
I'm pushing.
I'm waiting for
That-
someone to make a
we can't
USS
help you.
Eldridge skin for the Baltimore.
That would be interesting.
Well, yeah, it would, because Eldridge was a tiny
Ah.
little destroyer, but I say
I was
this
trying to
because
mag at him.
of the Philadelphia experiment.
Philadelphia experiment.
Yeah. Basically, you know how you can make a ship invisible to magnets by using a big degaussing line?
Oh,
That-
that thing.
you
Isn't
need
that
to
like
be-
Conspiracy Theory Central?
It's kind of just sort of a running joke at this point, because technically the ship was made invisible, just to magnets.
Right.
And it's a case of someone going, the US invented warp speed and cloaking technology because they misinterpreted the actual situation. The actual
People
situation
misinterpreting things.
being that Eldridge was fitted with a degaussing coil and went through a canal.
Aha. So the thing I shot here,
Yeah, the Russian.
that was a German.
Oh
This
yeah,
is
it
a-
was.
Yeah,
Light cruiser. Of course it's German. I can see a smoke cloud, but I can't see the ship. That said, there's another German over that away. I am on the point,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, I much prefer Tony.
Tona's gun angles are very welcome compared to Mogami,
I hate
My
the
favorite.
Mogami.
If they fix the Mogami's gun angles, it would be very,
Oh,
very
there's a
nice. It
thing
would
coming
have-
around this corner.
Yeah, oh, I see that. That is the hipper in question.
That's the one
Where?
that one-shot me.
I don't see it.
It's way away from you. Here.
Oh, so it's
yeah,
so it's behind me.
indeed.
Oh, rubber banding.
Yep.
I'll go for his rear, seeing as you're in front of him. Oh, you respawned the Hyuga.
Yes, I'm bringing.
Then you don't have to pay the repair cost.
Well, his turret B is down, so he's got one turret front now.
Oh, the rubber banding.
Hyugas never die. They're just missing in action.
God, this thing's really agile for a battleship. I'm not gonna lie.
It
I
is
think I
pretty
know
long.
where the. Well, the main thing is the rudder shift time and the fact that it can sort of have to. switch
Wow!
around quick. Hmm?
I
did you kill
detonated a
a Crim?
Crim.
I mean,
It is
yeah.
possible. Did you
I've
get him
never
in the
done
front?
that. Yeah, I was just shooting the front of it.
Yeah, the front mag is like big. It's hard to get, but yeah, your marker is kind of useless when it's attached to that key, Opti.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'd recommend ignoring it. I know that that's.
I can kind of see what you're doing. It's like
Yeah,
you
it
have a
means we can
laser
see what you're
pointer.
shooting at, but
I'm using it also just to probe for targets.
Oh, I
there's-
do that. I just hold it down and sweep.
Welburn C. Wood. The hell is Welburn C. Wood when it's at home?
That
Is
is
that one of the
Clemson.
crappy premiums?
It's a Clemson, yeah.
Okay.
I've literally never seen that.
Neither.
I wouldn't blame you because why would anyone ever, in their right mind,
Well,
purchase
that
it?
and why would you see it in a 6-0 match?
That is a really good question.
I mean, I bought the J class, even though it sucks now.
I would say the J class is actually probably the best Royal Navy.
Yeah, but then
destroyer.
they turned all the tasks to tier 3.
Yeah, that's true. That's unfortunate.
It's just like, oh, why would I ever use this now? I'll just use a battle instead.
Yeah. I'd like them to actually switch the JKNs and the battles. In my opinion, the JKNs have more of a place at rank 3 than the battle does.
No, I prefer the battles. Battles are amazing.
The battle is
Eh.
definitely a later ship as well, which makes
Later,
more
yes.
sense to me.
JKNs are actually better in game, though.
The sap shells on the battle are amazing.
Yes,
Not
but
after 10 kilometers. In fact, not after 5 kilometers. Their scaling is
But remember-
unfortunately light frigate class.
it's the battle pass, not the J pass.
Ugh. The J rail pass. But yeah, I really kind of want them to either A, fix the scaling on 100 mil plus guns. Like, those should not have set 3-inch scaling. You know what I mean?
No,
That's
because
a battleship. Oh, the enemy's smoking their battleship from me. That's quite nice.
those shells
Yeah, I
I've
see
seen
it.
coming through you were
Over
not.
there.
Yeah, I've been shooting at the cruiser that was doing the smokescreen action. I'm gonna actually take my classic position now because where the Gorky is actually a really strong position.
Well, this is a decent position for holding the flank as long as there's somebody holding that position you're in.
Oh yeah. Actually, if there is a Gorky there, yeah, I'll stay here for the time being.
Well, I'm no longer on the point.
Ah. 3, 2,
Gorky, you say?
1. Oh,
I see
that
a
was
German.
glancing shot. Allied Gorky. Our allied Gorky's taken a very strong position.
I'm glad you said that twice.
I want to make sure there's no misunderstandings.
No, because I like corgis took a new position. It's funny. Oh.
Oh,
At this point, I remember I actually literally have a medical condition for that.
is that a
Corgi?
Kafkas?
No, screwed up. Ugh. What I hear and what I hear are not, or what I hear and what I process are not necessarily the same thing.
Ah, fair. Yeah, that can be a bit concerning, isn't it? What is that?
Oh, there's a British heavy cruiser over there. Oh, the no.
Yeah.
No.
But 10 of the 12 shots are flying over because some of them hit the trees.
Reverse, reverse.
And if you've been noticing, I've been HE spamming. I think it's actually quite useful.
I'm paying attention to the Helgo.
Ah, I'll deal. I'm going to switch to AP then.
That
Trying
one.
to kill this Kafkaz.
Okay, there's a Helga over there. I don't see it. Am I-
There's a
There we
battleship
go.
of some description with wing turrets. And I think I see a black roof with a white ring on the front one.
Okay, I don't have visual. Mikuma-sama.
It's over that direction.
On the bright side, we've more or less won.
Yep, and I can't see anything because my own smoke is in the way.
But you're in Japanese, not German.
Yeah, I stopped, I popped smoke, and I reversed through it.
Oh wow, that chunk. 6%
I'm gonna
of
go
my
poke
crew.
my nose around this corner.
That was one hell of a salvo from whoever that was.
That isn't a wise decision.
I'm in a Tony. That's
I know.
basically my job.
Well, there's a battleship and like 3 cruisers over there, so...
I need to get closer to these houses anyway. To stop incoming fire.
Well, the
Like,
searchlight
on that,
platform just decided it was going to do multiple pirouettes as it spun off into the distance.
Are you calling a Leander a searchlight platform?
No, my searchlight platform.
Oh, right. I thought it was just... That's...
No,
I was
the
thinking maybe
Leander
that's
is,
what Leanders were designed as.
the Leander is what I thought was a heavy cruiser. And then I realized I had the wrong number of funnels. I'm pretty
Leanders
sure...
are weird. They redesigned the number of funnels it had.
Hmm.
I still don't see that battleship. Is he behind this?
This guy,
Yes.
Okay,
the
then yeah.
Westfalen.
No wonder I didn't see him because he is literally he's been in my dead zone the entire time.
He is your counter... he is your counter battleship.
Oh, I took out a turret.
Sorry,
Oh, no.
I don't know about that. I'd say the Maria is stronger, but I don't know about the Westfalen.
I mean, in terms of positioning.
The Westfalen
Oh,
has
yeah.
the best AA, doesn't it?
Yes, the 88s being classified as AA guns changes their AI to have AA gun accuracy,
Which is
very
annoying.
They've also
Because
got distance fuse as well.
there's
haven't they?
only 2 of them that were actually AA guns.
Yeah, no, it's not all of them that are AA guns, even right now in the game.
Oh, good.
The main difference is just that battleship auxiliary and main guns have
Auxiliary.
0 AA accuracy. Like they have different modifiers than AA guns, which is unique to battleships. Battleship AA or battleship main and secondaries have, as a result, inferior AA just by their nature, which I think is like welcome because if they didn't,
It would
have
be a
that
bit
be
dumb.
modified,